Hello and welcome everyone to the Polity Primer series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya and today we are going to discuss a very important contentious issue. The title of our today's discussion is Interstate Water Disputes. Indian federalism discussion or a fruitful discussion on Indian federalism cannot happen without discussing the relationship between states also. So we need to discuss interstate relations as well, so as to make the discussion on Indian federalism fruitful. Water forms the water disputes forms the bone of contention of the disputes between several states. So in this discussion, we will be studying about the interstate relations. We'll also see the interstate water disputes. We will also analyze the constitutional provisions for adjudication of these interstate water disputes. We'll also see the statutory enactments in this regard. We are also going to see the interstate water tribunals. We'll analyze the key issue which stop the effective resolution of these interstate water disputes, and in the end we are going to see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. So now let us proceed to understand the background of our today's topic. So as I was discussing this before also, water disputes form the bone of contentions between several states. You might have heard in the news in the past also and currently also that the states are fighting over the sharing of water of various rivers. There was this Penyar dispute, there was this Mahadai dispute. Then the most flared up issue as of now is the Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, which is in news recently. So all of this requires us to contemplate that what can be the long lasting and effective way to manage all of these water issues that is arising between the states. So now let us discuss the interstate relations with special reference to the interstate water disputes. So if I talk about the interstate relations, we have our Indian federalism, and Indian federalism not only talks about a cooperation between the central government and the state government, it also talks about a cooperation between the state governments also, like in state governments interstate say. And we believe in cooperative federalism. The states are working in a cooperation with each other, and that is why it is important to study about the interstate relations. But these relations are often strained due to the interstate water disputes, because the states are constantly fighting with each other for sharing the water resources, or the water resources of the rivers. So interstate water disputes definitely harms the cooperative federalism between the states, and it is one of the most contentious issues today. The absence of water data which is acceptable to all of these states is still not there. We do not have a water data, and that is why it is difficult to for the states to come to a consensus. Then there is second issue, that all of the tribunals which we have formed are completely non-functional in nature, that they do function but they do not function effectively, and that is why the equitable resolution of these disputes is necessary. So if we talk about the constitutional provisions which help in solving these disputes, or which help in the adjudication of these interstate water disputes, they are entry 17 of the state list. So water is a state subject. Kindly remember this. Water is a state subject. What do we mean by this? That the state has the power to make laws on subjects related to water, such as water supply, water irrigation, canal, drainage, embankments, water storage, and hydropower. But as we all know, the Indian constitution is quasi-federal in nature with a tilt towards unitary form of government. So ultimate power lies in the hands of the parliament, and that is enforced by entry 56 of the union list, which empowers the union government for the regulation and resolving of disputes, and also protecting the river valleys, etc. So ultimate powers lies in the hands of the central government to solve the issues between states regarding water sharing and also protect our river valleys. Then there is Article 262 of our Indian Constitution, which provides for the adjudication of interstate water disputes. Kindly remember this. This article is very important because UPSC has asked a question on this article previously, and it talks about two things. Firstly, the Parliament may by law provide for the adjudication of any dispute or complaint with respect to the use, distribution and control of waters of any interstate river and river valley. So as we were discussing this before also, that entry 56 grants the of Union List grants the ultimate power to the Indian Parliament to resolve all of these disputes. And this is affirmed by Article 262 as well, that the Parliament may by law regulate the use and distribution of the waters of various rivers and as well as the river valleys. Secondly, the Parliament by law also can prohibit the jurisdiction of courts. It can simply say that the courts do not have jurisdiction in these matters, and a special body or a quasi-judicial body or a tribunal may be constituted by the Parliament to resolve such disputes. And as far as the Parliament has enacted the statutory regulations, they are the River Board Act of 1956, which empowers the Government of India to establish river boards. But sadly, we do not have any river board in India. The one such kind of board has not been yet established. Then there is Interstate Water Dispute Act of 1956, which empowers, under this act, the Parliament is empowered to solve various disputes between the states. And the states, if the states demand, the Parliament can also constitute Interstate Water Tribunal under this act itself. So what is this Interstate Water Tribunal? Let us understand. So if I talk about the Interstate Water Tribunal, as the name itself suggests, it is a tribunal. And its main function is to resolve water disputes between various states. Currently in India, water states resolution is governed by the Interstate Water Disputes Act, as I was discussing this before also. And this act empowers the Parliament to constitute ad hoc tribunals for resolving of disputes. This Interstate Water Disputes Act was amended in 2002. And it included major recommendations by the Sarkaria Commission, such as 1 year time was given for its constitution and 3-year time was given to the tribunal to come to a decision, to finally give a decision. So if we talk about the constitution of these tribunals, so far 9 of these tribunals have been constituted by the Parliament to resolve the interstate relations or the interstates water disputes, and 5 of them were dissolved after they finished their task. So currently if we talk about the active tribunals, they are just 4 in number. So this is all about the Interstate Water Tribunal. So what are the key issues? Why are we discussing that? Why is this issue of water dispute coming up again and again in news? Why are the states fighting on the water sharing? So the key issues involves the following points. They are delay in adjudication. Although the Sarkaria Commission had recommended a 3-year time for the tribunal to reach its final decision, in practice this does not happen. Tribunals take a long time to resolve a dispute, and there is a delay in adjudication of these water disputes. Then opacity in the institutional frameworks and the guidelines that define the composition and constitution of these tribunals. So if we need to solve these water disputes effectively, we need to have a certain set of guidelines, right? And certain strong guidelines which has to be followed by the tribunals. But in this, in the case of India, we do not have such uniform set of guidelines. Then the composition of tribunal is not multidisciplinary and it involves only the judiciary. So it does not have any technical member. The tribunal is far behind, like it does not have any technical expert who has the technical know-how of adjudicating these disputes. The same is the case with the judiciary also. It is not necessary that the judges are technically sound to deal with all of these disputes. So the key issue also revolves around the composition of these tribunals. It should include technical experts who are experts in resolving the water disputes rather than having members only from the judiciary. So with this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. What can be the way forward to solve all of the water disputes? Firstly, we need to fast track these tribunals. Why? Because there is a delay in adjudication and it defeats the whole purpose. You are fighting since a long time over a water dispute. If I take an example, the Kaveri water issue. It keeps up cropping again and again, despite a Supreme Court verdict in 2018. Currently also it is in news. So if you do not follow a fast track procedure, definitely the states will keep fighting over the issues. Then we need to have a central repository of water or a water data repository. Why? Because then we will be able to decide that okay, this state should share this much data. The which state is more empowered in case of rivers, which state is having more waters from the rivers. So all of these data needs to be maintained, which we currently do not have. So this can be the way forward. And instead of including all of these disputes under Article 263, they should be moved to Article 263, which talks about the interstate councils, which is established by the President of India. So if we move these water disputes to Article 263, it will definitely expedite the process of their adjudication. So this can be some of the way forward in resolving these water disputes effectively. Now let us see a practice question for your prelims examination. Consider the following statements about Article 262. Your statement number 1 is, it deals with interstate water disputes. Your statement number 2 is, one can approach the Supreme Court against the decision of the Water Dispute Tribunal. Which of the following statements given above are true? Your options are, option A is 1 only, option B is 1 and 2 only, option C is 2 and 3 only, and option D is all of these statements, that is 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Kindly drop your answer in the comment box below. Now let us analyze a practice question for your mains examination. The question is a PYQ which was asked in 2013, and the question is, constitutional mechanisms to resolve the interstate water disputes have failed to address and solve the problems. Is the failure due to structural or process inadequacy or both? Discuss. So in introduction, you will state that a fruitful discussion on Indian federalism cannot happen if we do not discuss the interstates relation. Then you will draw the highlight on interstate water disputes, and you will write that water disputes form the bone of the contentions between several states. Then you will address the key issues which I have addressed in my lecture today, that okay, apart from functional issues, there are other issues as well, such as delay in forming the tribunal. The central government is not paying enough attention to the resolution of these disputes. These disputes should be brought under Article 263 from Article 262, and we need to have a single tribunal. Rather than constituting various tribunals time and again, we need to have a single mechanism to resolve this dispute, single permanent tribunal to resolve this dispute. And then you can say that these disputes need to be resolved effectively, and then you can conclude that water sharing disputes harm the cooperative federalism between states, and it is not the failure of just in structural, or it is the failure of process inadequacy as well, because the tribunals take a long time in adjudicating these matters. So you'll write about all of these issues and conclude your mains answer. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, kindly drop it in the comment box below. If you liked today's video and found this today's discussion helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.